What were your big takeaways? It seemed that at times Max Engling was debating all three of the other candidates who seemed to agree with each other on a number of issues.
Yes, well, the first one of these debates is do no harm. In other words, don't do anything to mess up your momentum or dig yourself in a deeper hole. I think for the most part, all four candidates did it, whether it was Max, Greg Ballard, Laura Schilling, and of course, Bo Bai. It did seem that Greg Ballard and Bo Bai almost sort of did an old WWF sort of tag team on Max, so to speak, because Max was sort of the brunt of everybody's attack. Now, I don't know if necessarily they think Max is the front runner or they figure he's the person to beat because the Libertarians will probably do about 5, maybe 6% on a good day.
And obviously, Greg Ballard being in this race is an interesting dynamic. How does that affect the other candidates? Who does he pull votes from? What did you make of his performance on the debate stage?
I thought the mayor did fine. For the most part, I thought everybody did fine. Like I said, the first rule in debate is do no harm. I do think the mayor made a little bit of news when we talked about the recount commission, saying it should be totally nonpartisan and just be all 5 judges. I think that was, if the mayor made some news from the debate last night, that was it. But as far as his performance goes, like I said, did fine. The mayor tends to think while he speaks, and so he doesn't really fly off the cuff. So it seemed like he was maybe stuttering a little bit. It wasn't stuttering; he was just sort of thinking as he was going along and just sort of framing the right answer.
The other candidates were all critical of the cost of his voter guide proposal, $2.5 million. That seems to be something that he's taken a lot of arrows on this week from his opponents in this race.
I thought it was interesting on the issue of the voter ID, not the voter ID, but the sort of voter database, the ballot box, the ballot card rather, is that the mayor had an interesting line saying, hey, we spend $7 million, $10 million on primaries. This is only like, a fifth of that particular cost. So that I thought was interesting from that perspective. Now, once again, I think the mayor had a point. What we spend on primaries and what else most would say spends on conventions sort of pales in comparison to a sort of voter ID, sort of ballot manual, so to speak.
Any other thoughts as we move into election season, Labor Day holiday, and more debates in October? Any other thoughts on this race? Certainly the one to watch on the ballot this year in Indiana.
I think you'll see regular people start to pay attention. Right now, it's just folks like us. It's the political class. It's the news media, lobbyists. We're paying attention, which is why if you've heard, if the speeches sound familiar, that's because you probably heard them 86 million times beforehand. But now it'll be the first time that a lot of times the public sort of gets to hear these speeches, hear their position. So it's a chance for we're sort of the warm-up act. Now it's time for the big stage, which is the actual voters themselves.
Abdul-Hakim Shabazz with us this week. Thanks so much, Abdul. We appreciate it.
My pleasure.